go. Please stand and join me for the pledge.
Hello everyone, I'm Lauren Spitzline, a member of this year's graduating class and the Student Council Cabinet. I want to personally welcome everyone that is here to participate in this milestone. I'm going to share a bit of my story. During the summer of 7th grade, I moved. I was used to moving, don't get me wrong. My dad's job meant that we moved every year or two. However, this time I moved from the sunny California to a freezing north of Chicago. It was harder. At first, I hated the idea. But then, I met the other kids in our grade. We were definitely a different grade, and we all have different strengths. While some of us excel at the sports, others in arts or core classes, we all share the same connection to each other and the Avoca School District. I remember my first day of school. Though it was a smaller school than the one I was used to, walking up to that door on the first day was such a daunting experience. I remember getting to social studies, my first period class, and relaxing a bit, knowing that I had made it. Walking through that door seemed like such a milestone at the time, but looking back, it wasn't that special. It was just a metal doorway, yet in my mind, it represented something much more. My social studies class was a blur until the end. When the clock started to reach the hour, Mr. Rowe dismissed us, yet I stayed seated. I don't remember why I didn't just go to the hallway and ask someone to show me where my next class was, but I do remember being scared, so I just remained seated. Mr. Rowe saw this, and asked me if I knew where my next class was. When I said I didn't know, he grabbed Brandon, who was leaving class, and asked him to show me. Brandon could have ignored him or ditched me when I was at my locker. He knew we were going to be late, even before I dropped my binder on the floor and had to pick it up, or stumbled with a new contraption called a locker. I walked slower to try to understand the hallways, yet he stood by my side, even when our next teacher was so annoyed at us for coming in late and disrupting class. He stood by me, even arguing with the teacher that I was new and couldn't have known where to go. These small moments happened a lot over the first few weeks, whether it was with Lindsay, who approached me in my first week, after her mom had emailed my mom about settling in and took me under her wing, or Nick, who was new to school like me, and when we were assigned the same table in math, used each other to figure out the new curriculum. Small moments like these kept pushing me further, showing me that I could move on, and I could make this new foreign place my new home. These small moments were what showed me what this grade was about, that this is a place of people who are empathetic and welcoming, a place of hard work, dedication, and kindness. It was special, and I was now a part of it. Small moments from the beginning of the year to the end, when we all pushed ourselves, like in Mr. Rowe's class when we did Acts on Acts, working with a group of people, creating a bond with them, and studying social studies in more depth. Or Mr. Christina's class when we built a bridge, where we learned perseverance and logic are really the only path to success. Projects that were important for content, but also for the bigger lessons taught. As 7th grade ended, a new one began, this time with another challenge. Survive science. No, it was the problem of fear once again creeping up. This was the last year that we would be together as a small grade before high school. This was the last year teachers had to teach us enough so the transition to a rigorous high school wasn't going to break us, which meant that we started the year within the first week with another project. In Mr. Gavani's class, we had to trust our partner and our own half-hand and video games brain and somehow create a good enough rocket to have it soar, using only a bottle, plastic, tape, and a ping pong ball. This is called the Bottle Rocket Challenge. Somewhere in my mad rush to create this contraption, I realized something pretty obvious. It's only through us working together that we would survive this crazy roller coaster of a ride, one that rely on us to hold onto each other. And to summarize my feelings in 3 words, I was afraid. Afraid of how fast we would go, or if I could keep up. There were quite a few projects over the year. In Ms. Cunningham's class, we read Of Mice and Men, writing a dramatic essay. In Ms. Sabatini's class, we created a monochromatic self-portrait. And in social studies with Mr. Malmstrom, we presented our model global citizen reports on someone special in the world. I think it's safe to say that we had at least every month, there was a project to do. And each project taught us something different. Overall, though, we were taught grit. We were taught to never give up on something, even if it seemed impossible. We were shown true hard work, and we were prepared thoroughly for our next step. High school, a step into the unknown. Yet, in the end, we've been bound together with our experiences. With such a small class, it's hard not to become a family after some time. I'm going to miss this family. But without further ado, I would like to tie us once more with a long-standing Marie Murphy tradition at graduation to celebrate all of us. Would everyone who is in this district since preschool please rise? Kindergarten. First grade, please join them. Second grade. Third grade, please rise. Fourth grade. Fifth grade, please stand. Sixth grade, please join your standing classmates. Seventh grade. And everyone who joined us this year for eighth grade. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2019. Special. I hope that we remember each other and the memories we've had and shared, like on Friday. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began, but I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Palter, and I'm the principal here at Marie Murphy School. Before I get started with my address, I wanted to take a moment to recognize the parents who put so much time and effort to make graduation an experience, not just a single night event. These are the parents who have been volunteering their time and planning for car washes, concession sales, parties, service projects, volleyball tournaments, and video montages this past year. There's too many to name individually, but I would ask that all the parents who have volunteered their time and effort this year as part of the 8th grade graduation committee stand and be recognized. Thank you. So each year, I have the opportunity to write one of the several graduation addresses that you're going to hear this evening. And like most of the speech authors, I find this both exhilarating and nerve-wracking at the same time. It's a tremendous rush to get up here in front of everybody, but sometimes it can be really difficult to find a topic or a thread that's going to connect nearly 90 graduates, hundreds of guests and staff members all together. The joke amongst the staff is that they all know I write the graduation speech about the day before graduation, sometimes the day of. And while I write with my back up against the wall, I do start the planning process months in advance. And this year, when I began brainstorming back in January, I kept coming up empty with a theme. You guys are a rough group to define, to encapsulate the 5-minute speech. And I kept on drawing a blank over and over again. So a few days ago, we're at graduation practice, and one of the graduates asked me if I liked writing the speech. And I replied, I can take it or leave it, depending on the year. And in that moment, I knew I had my idea. I had a thread. Because after all, graduation is very much something... No, see that? I lost my spot. Graduation is very much something that can be about taking things with you or leaving things behind. Of all the things that you guys have experienced these last couple of years, you get to choose what goes with you to New Trier, or Loyola, New Hampshire, Cleveland, or wherever the road may take you. And as you think about all those experiences, about what goes and what stays, I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in about what's worth taking and what's worth letting go. It's very much in alignment with my theme. You can take my advice, or you can leave it. So, take your science notebook. Sure, it's more tape than paper at this point, but it's worth at least 2 A's in high school science. Take your acting skills. Even if you're not an actor, the ability to stand up tall and proud, to speak loud and clear, and to take some risks, even if you're scared to death, will serve you well next year and beyond. Leave your gym uniform. It's a constant symbol of the fact that while you know a lot about hygiene, you consistently choose to ignore this knowledge. Take a bit of Mariana and Hope's quiet demeanor. Some of you would say a whole lot more by talking a whole lot less. But take some of Brandon and Sadie Grace's talking. They're talking, they're consistent talking, because some of you need to speak up more often and show the world that you have extraordinary things to say. Leave the Izzy water and the flaming hot Cheetos behind. Throwing up in one school cafeteria is quite enough. Take Gojo and Ella and Aiden and Roddick's courage. It's not easy starting out and being successful somewhere new in 8th grade. And take Hallie and Skylar, Margot, Caritza, and Lindsay's longevity. Running the gamut of the Avoca education system from AM preschool back in August 2008 to graduation this evening is worthy of recognition. Leave your stereotypes and prejudices against one another. If you're growing and evolving, then give someone the benefit of the doubt that they're doing the same as well. Take your MAP scores, your PARC data, and your research projects because sometimes you need proof that you've grown and achieved. But also, take your art, and your music, and your stories as a reminder that learning is way more than test scores and Target Pro. Leave your immaturity. All it does is hold you back from everyone seeing how remarkable you are. Take Jackson and Nicole's grit and determination as a reminder that when high school gets overwhelming, and it will get overwhelming, that you've always got a little bit more to give. Take Cece and Elena's kindness and compassion, because those who know how to treat others well will always have opportunities open to them. Take Ms. Stewart's passion for the environment and government, because the world desperately needs people to protect it, and people in power to empower those protectors. Take Ms. Ryan's presentations and accountability for grammar. No one cares how smart you are if you don't know how to communicate your ideas clearly. Leave your grade's reputation. Next year is a new start, and what you were and what you weren't won't matter the first day of school on August 26th. And most importantly, please take your individuality. It's what your teachers and I like best, and what we'll remember most about you. Not your grade, not your group, just you. So there you have it, a bunch of ideas and observations that you can take or you can leave. But I do hope that you notice that there's so much more to take than there is to leave behind, because it's been a fantastic 3 years. Your teachers and I wish you all the best, all the happiness, and all the successes you leave Marie Murphy. And you can take our hopes and wishes with you as well. Congratulations to the class of 2019. I'd like to welcome to the stage our Board of Education President, Mr. Rick Zielinski.
If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. A great quote from the primary author of the Declaration of Independence and our third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. Good evening. On behalf of the Avoca District 37 Board of Education, I would like to welcome parents, family, friends, and especially the class of 2019. One of the highest honors bestowed upon me as the president of the board is the opportunity to speak to you, the graduates of Marie Murphy. Delivering a speech in front of hundreds of people is something I see as a paradox. On one hand, it's sheer excitement, an opportunity to share my thoughts, inspire young minds. On the other hand, sheer panic. What if I trip on my words, fail to connect with the audience, or just simply boring or unremarkable? But as I prepared for this night and this speech, I realized this speech is reflective of what education is truly about. First, I was presented an opportunity. Then I was given the support to pursue it. And finally, I was afforded a chance at growth. Opportunities with support yield a chance for growth. America is the land of opportunity, and Avoca is absolutely a microcosm of that ideal. It all starts with our families that sit before us in this audience and occupies the houses across our neighborhoods. We all make conscious decisions and often sacrifices to live here, to provide the greatest opportunity for our children. An opportunity to grow up in a safe and nurturing community with amazing potential. An environment that encourages families to focus on their children and appreciates the importance of education. Our wonderfully diverse Avoca family provides unique opportunities where we can all learn about each other's culture and celebrate our differences with an open, inquiring mind, forging relationships based on our shared common interests. Avoca reflects this current global reality and provides an opportunity to build stronger connections with others as a result. In our schools, we also see great opportunity. Rich academic programs, clubs and activities outside of the school day, or our commitment to the fine arts. We do our best to ensure all students have opportunity. While the opportunities alone may be impressive, without support, most opportunities would not yield positive results. Support systems exist that provide assistance every day to all of you. Families provide support to their children, including social, economic, and spiritual, as well as other encouragements. Teachers provide support to their students to achieve academic goals and to socially and emotionally connect appropriately with others. Friends also provide critical supports, helping each other through the complexities and challenges of adolescence. Support helps calm the fears of trying something new of failing, but be willing to try again. Or sometimes just listening, encouraging, or sharing so none of us feel like we're alone in our quests. Everyone can relate to how important it is to provide support, but less often we use our supports to make opportunities valuable lessons. Class of 2019, I would ask you to think about the support you receive from your parents, teachers, classmates, every day, and think about how you can show appreciation and pay it forward in supporting others. With opportunities available and support systems accessible, the focus turns back to you, graduates, to make the most of the situation. Take full advantage of all that you have, and then you have the best chance of achieving growth. I say chance of growth because growth is completely up to you. Be prepared to embrace that often growth happens through failure. Use your failures to learn. In baseball, failing to get a hit 6 out of every 10 tries would be considered an all-star talent. Keep perspective. Every grade you receive in school will become more difficult to achieve as you move into high school and college and beyond. Challenge yourself. You may have conflicts in relationships. You may fail to always meet expectations in future careers, or you may simply make bad choices along the way. Don't shy away from potential disappointments. All of those possible failures, personal growth is something within your power to achieve. Why will you approach the situation differently next time? How could the ending be changed to become more favorable? What investments do you need to make in yourself and into others to achieve better results? While the why, how, and what will change with each opportunity, the process to study the outcome should not. Stay focused on learning, always gaining knowledge along the way, refining your approach. You are a unique group of graduates and have achieved great things here throughout your time at Avoca. As I've delivered commencement addresses in the past, I continue to be amazed that we always have firsts with each class. Your accomplishments have not been solely focused on community service, art, science, or academics, but you've contributed in all these areas. You're the first ever class to participate in an entire grade level community service project with your volunteer work at Feed My Starving Children. In fine arts, you've not only submitted the most pieces of scholastic art and writing pieces, but have also received the largest number of national recognition. In 3 consecutive years, you've been one of only 2 representative districts for our state at the Science Olympiad National Tournament. Regarding academics, one of the most important indicators is growth. In map testing, this 8th grade class has achieved the greatest percentage of students achieving their target growth. A very difficult feat given our typically high achieving performance. Lastly, in Illinois park testing, you performed at the top of the New Trier Township regarding meeting and exceeding state standards in both reading and mathematics. Your achievements here at Mary Murphy will simply prepare you for your high school and beyond. Continue to put in the hard work, and you will continue to realize success. Remember your classmates, teachers, and parents that have helped you get to this point. Their support will be essential to your continued accomplishment. The Board of Education's mission is to set the vision for the district and to make the most of the resources provided to us. As a district, we embrace our diversity, strive for academic excellence, and find substantial value in balancing our investments in students' emotional and social and emotional well-being, academics, and the arts. Our district parents are true partners in this endeavor, as well as the community at large, valuing the education of students above all else. Our teachers and staff are committed to getting the most from each and every student and ensuring they too continue to grow. Class of 2019, as you leave the comfort and familiarity of Murray Murphy, I encourage you to take risks, to try new things, to meet new people. Take advantage of the opportunities in front of you. Make the most of the support systems you have now and build others to support your future. And achieve growth through failure, through hard work, through perseverance in pursuit of your goals. In the inspirational words of the great author Mark Twain, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. Continue to make us proud to represent the Avoca legacy well and embrace the amazing opportunities in high school and beyond. Thank you. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the stage Avoca School District Superintendent, Dr. Kevin Young.
You have just heard from Board of Education President Rick Zielinski, but you should also know the rest of your board as well. These individuals are all volunteers elected by the community to set the mission, vision, and direction of the school district. They've been instrumental in helping these children to have the opportunities they've had and the privilege to cross the stage tonight. I'd like to introduce each one of them at this time. Board members, would you please stand as I call your name? Sumandar. Dan Garvis. Julie Roy. Jamie Taylor. Gretchen Woody-Glader. And Board of Education Vice President Louise Dekovitz. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to turn slightly so I can address the students here. Try not to put the microphone out of the way for whoever's next. But before I get into the body of my speech, I'd like to put it in context. Avoca is a very small district where students receive a lot of individual attention and protections. Now don't get me wrong, we've pushed you guys academically, we've challenged you, but we've always tried to help you persevere and let you know that you are loved and cared for along the way. But sometimes it feels like our students live in a bubble. As a matter of fact, we've heard from our alumni that we have a reputation for being a bit naive and innocent in comparison to our peers at New Trier High School. It's not a bad thing, it's just a thing, it is what it is. My speech today is about dealing with new people and being patient and trying to put things into perspective. So right now, I'm trying to build a context for you for a speech about context. This is my 8th year as superintendent, and every class that I have seen cross the stage for their 8th grade graduation has also been a class that at some point had me as their elementary school principal. And the same is true for this class as well. As a matter of fact, you guys are the last class of kids to ever have me as your principal. But that statement comes with a bit of a caveat this year. You see, your kindergarten class was actually one of the smallest in my history in this district. There were only 47 students, and of those 47, only 40 of you are sitting here tonight. Now, although your class started out small, it has grown to over 80 strong. And though I'd like to keep thinking about you as the last group of kids who had me as your principal, that really isn't completely accurate. But nonetheless, to those of you who were my last class as school principal, I appreciate the fact that we are moving on together from Avoca at the same time. Now, the idea of moving on comes with two different perspectives. Some look at it as the end of one experience, and for others it's the beginning of the next. Both are opposites, and yet both are equally correct. That's the neat thing about perspectives. You see, everything happens in this world happens within a greater context, meaning that there's always more than meets the eye. There are always more facts, there are always more influences, there are always different histories that people bring with them to any situation. Mrs. Stotts has a sign hanging in her library that says, "No two people ever read the same book." It's because the reader themselves brings something to the story. I told her that I also don't think that the same reader can read the same story twice, because now that I've read that story once, I'm not the same. I have a different understanding of what's going on, and I have a new perspective. The context has changed. You should know that for almost any situation, the greater context is not something that all of us can fully grasp. It's too big, it's too complex, and that's okay. You see, everybody brings their own experiences, their own information, and their own understanding of the facts to any given situation. So before you go and make an assumption about something, about what actually happened, or why it happened, or what motivated a person to act the way that they did, know that your assumption is based on incomplete evidence. Now, I'm a big believer that knowledge is power and that data and facts should drive decision making, but not just knowledge or number knowledge, or just not book knowledge or number knowledge, but contextual knowledge as well. It will be impossible for you to move on to high school without bringing the experiences you've had here with you. But don't forget that others have had different experiences than you. Remember, more than half the kids in this class did not have Mrs. Kelly or Mrs. Moran or Mrs. Rossi for kindergarten. So when you're faced with situations where you have an altercation or a disagreement with someone, recognize that you may just be coming at it from a different perspective. Take a moment to step back, try to learn about that other person's perspective, and always assume the other person has a positive intent. Now, you may still disagree from a philosophical perspective, and that's fine. You don't need to roll over and play dead just to keep the peace. But don't just write off the other person by assuming that you know what they brought to the situation. Talk to them. Learn about them. Learn from them. Too much these days, we seem to be living in a this or that world. It's either my way or the highway, and that stalls progress. There's an art to compromising. There's a skill to being able to find win-win solutions to problems. Work together to make the change you want to see, and if you can do that, you'll go far. They say that it's not what you know, but who you know, and I don't completely buy that, but what I do read into that statement is the fact that how other people see us is a key contributor to our success. So be patient with others. Make people feel valued when they are in your presence. And one way you can do that is by trying to understand their perspective. Remember, every team that you will ever be on will have you as a teammate. So do your best, be your best, always maintain your integrity, and appreciate that the perspective of others and what they bring to the greater context makes the whole team stronger. So as you move on confidently, move on patiently, move on curiously. Be the person who solves the problem by working with others, by understanding the bigger picture. Good luck to you, class of 2019, as you move on. Now the part we've all been waiting for. Distributing the diplomas to our 8th graders today will be our Board of Education President, Rick Zielinski, and joining us a little later will be Board of Education Vice President, Mrs. Louise Dekovitz. And, as is the tradition at Murray Murphy School, 2 of our retiring teachers will read the students' names. Ms. Nancy Stewart and Mrs. Sharon Ryan, will you please join us on stage at this time?
Jackson Abbott. Bella Parake. Alondra Montoya. Mariana Venderlo. Ethan Champus. Will Liu. Hallie Lorena Cornelius. Isaac Castillo. Abigail Boyle. Will Kelly. Matthew Turchik. Karitsa Patel. Margot Pagonis. Skylar Balkadov. Chase Abbott. Cecilia Perez.
Will Morrison. Hope She. Ella Illick. Emerson P. Jack Anderson. Ned Coe. Guy Brown. Noah Perez Sinclair. Tyler Jackson. Tyler Greenspan. Peter Skoglund. Ben Sulkin. Anwin Lee. Isabella Casada. Serena Vandergrift. Lou Welsh. Ashay Jathar.
Liam Rieger. Helena Nisbet. Skylar Mills. Arden Christian. Evan Canelos. Maya Shell. John Yoshitani. Monica Luke. Nicole Bocayas. Audrey Chung. Nick Johnson.
Calvin Chen. Phoebe Kim. Ivana Rajwani. Lior Hartal. Leah DeAngelis. Aiden Lee. Brandon Kim. Joey Friedman. Colin O'Donnell. Alex Bailey. Mikey Flesh. Mick Racenstein. Elena Greenspan. Roddick White. Catherine Yasenik. Sadie Grace Richardson. Becca Arneson.
Ikram Kamali. Alec Balasa. Lindsay Umlauf. Daniel Kodiak. Graham Mastros. Magnolia Gerlich. Nick Wisman. Dylan Mayer. Junlin Zhang. Ben Prouty. Brian Coe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marie Murphy class of 2019.
Hello everyone. My name is Becca Arneson and I have the pleasure of sharing with you about my time in District 37. It will be bittersweet leaving the school, but looking back, I realize Avoca West and Marie Murphy have helped me build a staircase of confidence that leads to high school. I moved from Sunset Ridge to Avoca West the summer before 5th grade. Moving is hard for everyone, no matter what grade the move happens in. And I remember this as a time when my staircase seemed dark and narrow, hard to navigate in. One of the biggest influences in my life would have to be my parents. They know how determined I can be and push me to try everything, even if the chances are slim. They believe in me and always taught me I was good enough. I can still hear my dad's encouraging voice say, "Your accomplishments don't define you, and neither does failing at something. What matters is that you try your best and get back up after you fall." By having them by my side throughout my whole time here, I always knew at least 2 people believed in me, even when I couldn't believe in myself. They are the concrete platform of my staircase and have helped me build all my steps. In my times of darkness, they provided the railing I could use to get lead out of those times. As I met the kids at Avoca West, I realized there was nothing to be worried about. They were all encouraging and helped me through my first year at Avoca. It was a really good year. As we transitioned to Marie Murphy, I noticed that middle school is a time for identity. We all begin to mature and think, where do I belong? I had always been super sporty, so I figured that could be my thing. I immediately went out for soccer, cross country, and basketball. As an eager 6th grader, I tried everything I could to see what would click. I remember being terrified as I walked onto the soccer field. My shaky hands and racing heart were all because of the fact I had heard time and time again it was very unlikely to make the soccer team in 6th grade. To my surprise that night, when I clicked the webpage, I had landed a spot on the team. Looking back, I realized one of my first Marie Murphy steps had been built. Making the soccer team in 6th grade gave me the confidence to go out for the spring play later that year. I had never done theater outside of one semester with Miss Jansen, but I knew how fun it was because I remembered when she had us create pantomime scenes in a group. During this time, we got to be ourselves on stage with no judgment from any of the classmates. This was known as the safe zone, which I loved about theater from the start. Miss Jansen is an amazing teacher. I remember during her class in 6th grade, I was so nervous to get up in front of my class. One time, a peer and I even froze on stage for a good 20 to 30 seconds. But she was never upset. She was only encouraging and wanting to help ease my nerves. She was always there to get me ready before a performance or give me a hug and always let me know I would do amazing. She is really one of those teachers who cares about all of her students and will go above and beyond to help them. When I walked into auditions, I knew I looked the same, big smile and confident stance, but on the inside I was just as nervous as before. Making the play is apparently harder than the soccer team, especially with the show we were doing. It was a comedy called Wait, Wait, I Can Explain, and only had a 13-person cast, including understudies. I walked into auditions with no confidence yet again, but gave it my all. I knew that with Miss Jansen by my side and encouraging me, I could at least find it in myself to try. 2 nights later, I pulled up the cast list on my laptop, and I realized I made the team, or play, or whatever. I saw my name as a big sister, and I was in complete shock, but super happy. I had found what kind of clicked with me. I had found my thing, and over the past 3 years with Miss Jansen and my fellow castmates by my side, I fell in love with this type of art. Another step had been added to my staircase. As I look back on the class of 2019, I recognize everyone had climbed their own staircase. Each experience has been different, just as every staircase is never the same. Undoubtedly, the staircase that is Marie Murphy is now filled with nicks and divots from the class of 2019. I know mine for sure has some cracks and bumps from when I've fallen, but there are also smooth landings and places where we mark all different kinds of accomplishments. Whether it be adjusting to a new school after a move, experiencing a win on the soccer field, or nailing a theater performance, I know that by taking our own steps and climbing our own staircases, we will all have the confidence to take on high school and our futures. I'm proud of how far we've come in District 37, and I can't wait to climb the next staircase that awaits me in high school. My name is Becca Arneson. I hope you all have an amazing night, and congrats to the class of 2019.